Morning, Sunday morning. Beautiful morning here in Scotland. It has been said, another 10 minutes of joy, of fun, of inquiry. Some information for someone. It has been said that we are God. Collectively we are God. Well, collectively we are that. God is a name. It's a simple name. You see, consciousness is all that exists. So if consciousness is all that exists, right, which has no beyond, it is infinite, limitlessly, stretching. It's never began, and it will never end. So this consciousness must be God. Now, what is that then? What is consciousness? What is consciousness? Consciousness is non-computable with the human mind. Consciousness is neither stillness nor is it movement. See, end of understanding for human mind. Everything that we experience is through movement and through stillness. Stillness is actually movement, yeah, and movement is actually stillness. And when the two are merged together and movement ceases to exist and stillness ceases to exist, consciousness is that merging. Consciousness is the merging of its own movement and stillness to give birth to itself, appearing as movement and stillness. When a being experiences the merging of consciousness, which is pure consciousness in its totality, which is made of something that will never ever be discovered. Never be discovered, only experienced. Okay? When a being experiences this merging of consciousness, this one moment where stillness and movement within itself met, it has to be free, or has to totally deny, this being has to totally deny movement and stillness. Something and nothing. Now, how does that affect you, you see? How can I experience that? That's the question you really want to ask. It sounds amazing. It is beyond whatever every single human being has set out to achieve. It is beyond heaven and paradise. It is beyond wanting to be born or wanting to die or wanting to live. See? But it can only be experienced whilst living. How do you do that, you see? How do you do that? This is going to be the most simplest 10-minute Sunday ever. It is so simple. It is so simple, the way to do it. But to do it is, to the mind, virtually impossible. In fact, it says it's impossible, because the mind is not invited to this merging, because mind is movement and stillness. So mind has to remove itself if it wants to experience this pure merging of consciousness birth. So what is happening, you see, before I explain to you how you do it, very simple, is whatever you think you are, or whatever you are, you will be transported from this whole idea of being a human being in a time, in a century, in a planet, right back to the beginning, when consciousness, which has always been here, but has never taken life, but you will be transported to the beginning, that one moment when it happened. It was very, very fragile, very dangerous to try and do and experience something that you're not 100% fully committed to do. And no human form that even has experienced it would advocate it, would encourage it. But to do it is very simple, but totally impossible from the mind. So you're going to be put off the minute the answer is revealed. You're going to say, well, you know what? I'm not wanting to take the risk. I wouldn't take the risk, because what happens is, if you survive it, which is not in your hands, you see, it is consciousness that decides whether you're strong enough to go in the first place. So you can go through the practicing, and consciousness in itself is saying that body and mind is not going to even get an attempt. I'm going to continually put it off. Continually put it off. It's not about how many get the opportunity to experience this. It is about one or two experiencing, and others being affected by it, whether in its presence, or whether by the words, or whether by simply being put off to go and live a life of a human being. That is very, very important for every one of us, to fulfill and experience and live out this life without seeking what I'm about to tell you. Only a few have this one is not going to take ownership of how to do it. But I can point you to Ramana's pointings. Ramana laid down to die to it, same as this buddy. I wasn't 16 though. I had lived a full 50 years of my life before even this inquiry within that I didn't know was going on between this stillness and movement, fighting for their lives, having an interview, meeting, discussing, are we ready, are we ready, are we ready? So I was willing to sacrifice the rest of my life for this. Ramana at 16, that is a sacrifice, you see. Follow Ramana's pointings. Very simple pointings. Deny everything. Can you deny beautiful, serene, heavenly peace, stillness, where Christ, the Holy Spirit, every angel, every saint, every light, every pristine wholeness of love is standing before you, saying, stop. That's enough? Can you deny that? Because all these things that are standing before you are man-made things, mind-made things. The teacher is standing behind you, saying, I wonder what this one's going to do. So through your life, can you constantly deny constant love, constant happiness, constant bliss? Can you simply say no? Thank you? No, thank you. Most cannot deny even a tiny bit of love. They want it. I want to be loved. I want to be loved. And Muji puts it in the greatest quote. Do you want to taste the honey, or do you want to be the honey? Because what you're denying is all the pleasures of life. All the pleasures, all the nastiness as well, everything that comes, pain, no, thank you, no, go. Any desire that comes, thank you, no. I'm going to give you a life as a king. I'm going to help you win the lottery. I'm going to give you an island on your own. This island is paradise. It's crystal clear blue water, palm trees, continual food, continual worship, continual massage, continual beautiful musicians every day when you want, when you snap your fingers. Yeah? Who can say, no, not this? So it's impossible, you see, to the mind. The mind has been conditioned into wanting and getting the nice things in life. And even when it conditions you into saying, I want to meet God, and God turns up, and you look at God, it's not a physical thing, but you're there in the presence of this, and you say, no, thank you, not that. How egoistic is that, you see? That's when ego flips, you see? Ego flips. It becomes the scoundrel to the king, above all kings. That's when you know that everyone will actually experience this. You don't have to look for it. You are already that king, that saint. No one should have to do what Ramana Maharshi did, or this Bodhi did, or Eckhart Tolle did. No one should have to do that. It is our own doing that we were seeking, that we have totally misjudged who we are, what we are capable of, into murdering and killing our own species through a need to get an island with blue sky, with blue sea. A dream, a fantasy. The dream and the fantasy is dreaming about the dream and the fantasy. That's mind. You are neither stillness nor movement. You are this consciousness, this substance that is beyond all human knowledge and intellect. We are looking for something much lesser than what we already are when we look into space. Look into your own space. Become the space between stillness and movement, between penis and vagina, between the womb and the stable. You know, the moment consciousness gave birth to itself, and you are consciousness, and you're appearing as consciousness, and you'll always be consciousness. There's nowhere for you to go. When the body goes, you return to your blue water. You're the whole ocean of consciousness in its purest sense. We as humans each will get an opportunity to appear or experience as God. That's what Ramana experienced. That's what all enlightened beings experience, is an experience of being God, not the God. Because consciousness is the God, you see. The mirror of consciousness is all that exists, shining on both sides, a moving side and a still side. And right in the core and the being, in this place of birth where I was born, is existence, is reality, is truth. So consciousness cannot be understood by a human mind. So how can this core of consciousness even be considered? Leave it be, you see. Let it be. Strong words for a Sunday morning, whatever day it is in your country. The good news is you don't have to die like Ramana did. Ramana gave you the words, gave you the whole Holy Spirit, and it's passed down through the lines to each one of us when we're ready, when our body is capable of taking on that role. But it's not worth seeking. Let it come to you, see. Let it come to you and place its hands on your head and chop it off and show you what no human mind can really come to terms with. How can a human mind really understand that stillness is not the truth? Black, death, stillness, nothing, no sound, no life, not the truth. Movement, birth, living, existence, nature, breathing, is not the truth. Something between them, this power, is that what is? And each one of us dwells there now. So don't seek. Simply experience the words, experience the knowledge that you are perfect, absolutely perfect in whatever state you appear in. Your mind simply cannot understand how perfect you are. So it's always trying to impress you, to keep you happy, so that you keep your eye on the mind. Because the mind, which appears to be distracting you from what your truth is preparing you. It's preparing you for this great revelation. This great revelation that may happen on your last breath. But it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Because time has no time. 50 years is the same as Romana's 16 years, is the same as 90 years, is the same as a billion years, is the same as 1 second. Everything is the same moment. Namaste. And one Sunday, I will get it down to 10 minutes. I promise. I love you. Whoever you are.